Hey you guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. Today we're having a look at something completely different, and it's these two figurines from Neca's Prometheus line. And if you are familiar with Neca's figures, you'll know that they are very high quality and very high detail, both in the paint job and in the sculpt. And these two come from the fantastic science fiction epic of last year. Now, for our younger viewers, I wouldn't recommend that you watch Prometheus. It is a scary film, and I would wait until you're a bit older to watch and fully understand some of the ideas in the film. But if you are familiar with the film, you'll know that this is David, and he's a synthetic being, or an android, and he's played by Michael Fassbender in the film. And then over here we've got the engineer in the pressure suit, and he essentially comes from a race of people who engineered the human race. So he's supposed to have almost genetically engineered our ancestors and gave life to our planet. So I was really looking forward to these two coming out, mainly David, because I really liked his role in the film, and he came in the second wave, so actually came out this year, and the engineer came out last year. Now, the reason I wanted to get these two as a pair is because of their contrast in scale. In the film, the humans and David are much shorter than the engineer, and I love this contrast in scale that you're getting in the figures, and I'm so glad that Neca stayed faithful to this contrast in scale. It would have been very easy for them to have made David the same size as the engineer, but no, they stuck with the accuracy of the film and made him smaller. So today we're going to be taking a look at David, and then in the next part we'll be moving on to the engineer. So here's David in his packaging, and as you can see he's presented really nicely with the Prometheus logo at the top in a sort of bright white backed with blue, and then at the bottom there it says David 8. So he is version 8 of his synthetic life form. And inside the bubble you can see that an array of accessories surround him. So you've got a replacement head, and you've got a glass bubble that goes on his helmet when you want to switch him into exploratory mode, and it also comes with a handheld torch. He also has a shoulder mounted camera, I don't know if you can see it there, on his left arm, and I'm pretty sure that is detachable, but we'll get a closer look at that in just a minute. As you can see, he looks really detailed in the box before we've even got him out, and I'm really looking forward to getting him out of the packaging. On the back we've just got a bit of a read up about David 8. Please pause if you want to read this. And there's Michael Fassbender in figure form with all the detail on his suit. And then at the bottom we've got a picture of all the other figures available in this wave and also the last wave. Okay, so now I'm going to get David out of the packaging and we'll run through all of his features. Stay tuned, guys. David out of the packaging has a staggering level of detail. His spacesuit is absolutely amazing. He's got these decals all over it that mean that on closer inspection he just holds up so well. And actually seeing him in the packaging doesn't do him justice, because on the back he has so much detail going on. He's got all these little control boxes, this sort of life support suit, although he's a synthetic human being, and then you've got like a torch attached to his belt, so there's so much detail going on here. We'll get a closer look in just a second. And as I said, he came with 3 accessories, so he comes with a replacement head. We'll just get a closer look here. So he comes with this replacement head. As you can see, it says David with the Wayland logo at the top, and it comes in this sort of almost like an astronaut's cap, which is very sort of reminiscent of 1950s astronauts. So I love the sort of style that's been chosen there. And then it also comes with this glass bubble, and this is made from a transparent plastic with painted details. And this actually matches the helmet we see in the film exactly, so they've really gone to a lovely level of detail. You can see all the little rivets and all the bits there. Really an exquisite detailed little piece. And then if that's not enough, it comes with the little handheld torch that he carries with him and the battery pack. And as you can see, it's got a nice level of detail too. So if you're familiar with Michael Fassbender, the actor, you can see that his likeness is not 100%. It's getting there, but he looks a little bit tight-lipped. And actually I'd say he's looking a little bit more like Lawrence of Arabia than he is the Michael Fassbender character. So I don't know if that was intentional. And then as you go down the body, you can see the decal on the chest there. And you can see all the sort of veined substructure of his cloth. It's obviously a very smart suit from the future. And then you can see there's sort of nice detailed gloves as we go down the body. Got all these wonderful bits of armour. And he's got very, very weathered boots. They've just been dry brushed with this sort of brown paint. And it really adds this nice level of detail to his footwear. I really like the back of this figure. I think the detail is actually more realised on the back than it is on the front. And wow, what can I say? It's just staggering to look at the back. It looks like a statue figurine, not something you'd get on an action figure. So Neca have really sort of outdone themselves again. And on the side there you can just see a torch which is moulded onto his belt. Does not come off, unfortunately. But yeah, really impressive detail all across the figure. So in terms of articulation, David can turn his head left and right. He can move it up and down a little bit. The arms can go a full 360. They can bend at the elbow. And there's also a little bit of a ball joint in the wrist. So you can waggle that wrist around. At the abs, you can do an ab crunch. Doesn't go a massive degree, doesn't go a massive amount, but you know, it's pretty cool. The waist is actually really free to spin. Mine's a bit loose. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but it's really free to swing either way. You can swing the legs forwards and also out to the side. They've got a sort of a swivel joint with another joint so that you can swing it out and forwards and backwards. So they can go right back like that. So you can get David into the splits, and I know how much you love getting David into the splits like that. And there's a bend at the knee, and this is actually a double joint, as you can see, which allows you to just get that extra degree of bend so you can get a proper leg squeeze there. And then the foot, like the hand, is a ball joint, so you can fully waggle that foot around. So actually it's a really poseable figure, and that's due to Neca's high quality build. Really fantastic stuff. So when David exits the ship, he needs to go into his exploratory mode, and you do that by removing his head. So you see his head comes off, and then you can put on the 1950s style astronaut cap David. So you can pop that on like that. It's actually quite a tight fit in my case. I don't know if they're all like that, but with mine it's quite hard to get on. And then you pop on the astronaut's airtight cover. So I think it goes this way, and there's little teeth in the side of the plastic cover. We'll get a closer look, and they mesh with the plastic on the top of the body. You can see there's just one tooth there and one tooth there, and they line up with the body, and then the helmet sits nicely on top. And as you can see, he looks really good in there. This is film accurate, and they've done such a smashing job. One of the really nice details is that he's got a shoulder mounted camera here. We can actually remove this, put this on the top of his helmet now that he's in astronaut mode. So let me just get this lined up, because it is on a hinge. Excuse me while I take half an hour to do this. And that will sit nicely on the top like that. And actually the camera is articulated, so you can actually bend it as well, and that sits nicely on the top. So that is absolutely staggering. They've put that level of detail into his suit, and the cable actually runs nicely down the back to the control box here. So that's a really lovely attention to detail. David wouldn't be able to find his way around the derelict ship without his torch, which sits very nicely in his hand. So that was today's look at the Neca Prometheus David 8 figure. And I have to say the level of detail on this thing is absolutely staggering. It's a shame that the head sculpt is a little bit off, but I think the fact that there's so much detail on the sculpt of the body more than makes up for it. And the articulation is pretty good too. Okay guys, as usual, rate, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be looking at the engineer and comparing the scale of these two next to each other. Okay, see you in the next video.